Today we're upgrading the Dell Precision Tower 5810 into a low-end gaming PC. I decided to put in a GTX 950 for two reasons. I found it locally for 30 bucks, and on eBay right now they're going for around 50, so I got a really good deal. And then this computer's power supply is not modular and only has two 6-pin power connectors. So this card is perfect because it only requires a single 6-pin. This computer came with 16 gigs of RAM and a 4-core Intel Xeon E5-1620v3 processor, so I didn't upgrade any of those. I started off testing Red Dead Redemption 2, and we had some trouble immediately. It wouldn't let me display in 1080p and gave me a warning error whenever I tried to switch it, so we ran it in 720p. But we were able to get around 30 frames per second on average in the town of Valentine. In some of the less busy areas, frame rates did creep up to around 38, 39. So it was definitely a playable experience at 720p, but not ideal. Next, I tested Cyberpunk 2077 at low preset graphics settings, and it did okay, sitting typically in the mid-20s for frame rate and maxing out our GPU at 99%. I mean, overall, it looks great. It was a playable experience, but if you really wanted to hit that 30 frames per second, the 950 is not your card. Next, I tested PUBG at low graphic settings. We were able to get frame rates above 100 most of the time. We did see some dips. The lowest it dipped down into was the mid-60s. For some reason, whenever I went into the inventory, it dropped down into the 80s. But the rest of the time, it was well above 100 for the most part. Definitely, I would say, playable. Rocket League was able to perform great at high quality settings. We got over 100 frames per second pretty much all the time. I did see a couple dips down to 98, 99 frames per second, but overall, it was a very smooth experience. I did give Modern Warfare 2 a try, even though the minimum recommended specs is a 960, and we're rocking a 950 in this computer. But overall, I mean, it did pretty good. Saw mid to high 50 frame rates for most of the time, come up to about 60 every once in a while. It was a playable experience. I had fun, but if you are wanting to be competitive, definitely would not recommend the 950. If you enjoyed this video, you might also like my video where I test out the RX 580.